Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Oldham County Fiscal Court. I'm Judge Executive David Vogel. It's the 9th day of January, a little bit after 2 o'clock, and we're happy to have all of you here today. I ask you to please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. If you happen to bring a cell phone with you today, I would ask you to turn it to off or vibrate because it can interfere with our public address system here. And now we'll ask our clerk, Sheila Fair, to please call the roll.
Magistrate Likens.
Here.
Magistrate Tice.
Here.
Magistrate Leslie.
Here.
Magistrate Greenwell.
Here.
Magistrate Hounds.
Here.
Magistrate Eldridge.
Here.
Magistrate Dye.
Here.
Magistrate Logsdon.
Here.
Judge Vogel.
Here. Having all members of the fiscal court present, this meeting is now in session. Is there a motion to accept the agenda?
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. There are no changes to the agenda today because this is a special called meeting. We delayed last week's meeting because it was just the 2nd of January until today, but on a special called meeting, the agenda has to be posted 24 hours before the meeting date, so it doesn't allow us to make exceptions to unscheduled items on the agenda. So now I'd like to ask Ms. Fair to please read the minutes from our last meeting, which was December 19th.
December 19th, 2017. The Oldham County Fiscal Court convened at a regular meeting at 2 p.m. with Judge Executive David Vogel, County Attorney John Carter, and the following magistrates in attendance: Brent Likens, Wayne Tice, Bob Leslie, Steve Greenwell, Chris Hounds, Kevin Eldridge, Bob Dye, and Michael Logsdon. Motion made by Magistrate Leslie and seconded by Magistrate Hounds to approve the agenda as submitted, adding Mel Milburn Engineering Survey Services proposal under contract agreements. Motion carried unanimously. Motion made by Magistrate Leslie and seconded by Magistrate Hounds to approve the meeting minutes of December 5th. Motion carried 8-0-1. Magistrate Likens abstained. Public comment. Solid Waste and Recycling Coordinator Becky Zocklin announced the county's annual Christmas tree recycling, available through January 31st, 2018. After the holidays, residents can drop off their cut trees at the Oldham County Recycling Center located at 3943 Jones Drive. Trees will be recycling into mulch to be used on parks, trails, and landscape beds throughout the county. Payables. Motion made by Magistrate Leslie and seconded by Magistrate Likens to approve the payables. Motion carried unanimously. Sheriff's Office 2018 budget and annual order for deputies and assistants. Motion made by Magistrate Dye and seconded by Magistrate Hounds to approve the Sheriff's 2018 budget as presented. Motion carried unanimously. Motion made by Magistrate Eldridge and seconded by Magistrate Logsdon to approve the Sheriff's annual order setting maximum amount for deputies and assistants. Motion carried unanimously. Contract agreements and resolutions, 2017 Emergency Management Assistance Grant application. Motion made by Magistrate Greenwell and seconded by Magistrate Hounds to authorize the Judge Executive to sign the grant application relating to 2017 Federal Emergency Management Assistance Grant Program funds. Motion carried unanimously. Mel Milburn Engineering Surveying Services. Motion made by Magistrate Logsdon and seconded by Magistrate Dye to authorize the Judge Executive to sign the contract agreement with Mel Milburn Engineering for surveying services on Rollington Road as submitted. Motion carried unanimously. Committee reports and recommendations. Road Committee, Harrods Crossing. Motion made by Magistrate Tice and seconded by Magistrate Greenwell to accept the following Harrods Crossing roads into the county road maintenance system: Harrods Crossing Boulevard, Westview Court, West Side Court. Motion carried unanimously. Road Committee, Ballard Glen, Phase 1. Motion made by Magistrate Greenwell and seconded by Magistrate Eldridge to accept the following Ballard Glen Phase 1 roads into the county road maintenance system: Ballard Glen Parkway, Clarkhurst Circle, Miller Glen Place. Motion carried unanimously. Road Committee, Erosion Control Bond Release. Motion made by Magistrate Dye and seconded by Magistrate Likens at the recommendation of the county engineer to release the $36,829 erosion control bond relating to the 5-star fill area Park and Tark. Motion carried unanimously. Personnel, dispatch. Motion made by Magistrate Hounds and seconded by Magistrate Eldridge to hire Tim Keel as dispatch director at $62,500 a year effective January 3rd, 2018. Motion carried unanimously. Road, motion made by Magistrate Greenwell and seconded by Magistrate Hounds to hire Joshua Knuckles as seasonal driver at $20 an hour effective December 19th, 2017, and hire Anthony Clark as Equipment Operator 1 at $13.50 an hour effective December 20th, 2017. Motion carried unanimously. Board appointments, Board of Adjustments, motion made by Magistrate Leslie and seconded by Magistrate Hounds to appoint Todd Frierson to the Board of Adjustments to fulfill Stephen Davis's unexpired term through January 1st, 2019. Motion carried unanimously. Oldham County Water District Board, motion made by Magistrate Lankins and seconded by Magistrate Leslie to reappoint Jay Hall and Bob Durbin to the Oldham County Water District Board with terms to expire January 1st, 2022. Motion carried unanimously. Second public comment, none. Executive session, motion made by Magistrate Logsdon and seconded by Magistrate Hounds to go into executive session pursuant to KRS 61.810B, acquisition of real estate. Motion carried unanimously. Motion made by Magistrate Eldridge and seconded by Magistrate Dye to return to the meeting. Motion carried unanimously. Motion made by Judge Vogel and seconded by Magistrate Eldridge to move meeting dates in January to January 9th and 23rd at 2 p.m. due to the county's holiday calendar. Motion carried unanimously. Announcements. Fiscal Court members wished everyone safe travels during the holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and Happy New Year. Magistrate Greenwell thanked everyone that had a part in the Ballard Glen Road project. Ballard Glen residents are extremely grateful for the new roads. Magistrate Eldridge announced KYTC is performing road work on shoulder of Highway 53 near Maverick Estates. Please drive with caution and watch out for flagmen. Magistrate Logsdon announced KYTC anticipates a later completion date around mid-spring for Highway 22 road work in Crestwood. Judge Vogel stated the red lights in downtown LaGrange are just waiting for KYTC approval and installation. He stated after 120 trees were donated to the county and planted on Oldham County Parkway, Ron and Linda Funk of Woodfields Homes made a $1,500 donation to purchase additional trees. He thanked them for the donation. He announced the new detention center will offer a public tour January 7th from 1 to 5 and provided information on a fundraiser at the detention center, scheduled for January 12th. Options to jail the judge and to spend the night in jail, all benefiting local charities. Fundraiser details are on the county's website and on Jail the Judge page on GoFundMe. Motion made by Magistrate Eldridge and seconded by Magistrate Hounds to adjourn the meeting. Motion carried unanimously. The meeting was adjourned at 3:20 p.m.
You've heard the reading of our minutes from December 19th. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Time now for public comment, and that's the time during the meeting when we allow members of the community and staff members as well to bring information to the fiscal court. So our first person here is Becky Zockline.
Just reminding everyone of the fact that we are accepting fresh cut Christmas trees at the recycling center to be used for mulching purposes throughout our park systems. We have quite a pile right now, so it's pretty easy to figure out where to drop your tree off. But we'll be collecting those through the end of the month, and then we'll be mulching them.
All right.
Thank you, everyone who's already dropped off a tree.
Thank you.
Judge, good afternoon. Jim Urban, Director of Planning and Development Services. Good afternoon, magistrates. I just wanted to remind everybody that this Saturday, January 13th at 9 a.m. here in this room, we're going to have a public meeting regarding the proposed changes to the zoning ordinance and subdivision regulations that we've been working on for the past about 6 or 8 months. This is kind of the second round of revisions that we're going to bring through the Planning Commission and then ultimately through the legislative bodies for approval. The topics of discussion are going to be in the zoning ordinance, Division 270080, the school capacity ordinance standards, and we've really modernized those to be more reflective of the school capacity. Division 300, landscape regulations. We're proposing also a new ordinance regarding, or new section of our ordinance rather, regarding short-term rental property. And we are having a discussion about maximum height regulations, particularly in the commercial zoning classification, not the commercial neighborhood, but the higher zoning for commercial development. And then we have a new process in our subdivision regulation. It's a 3-tier process for going through review, either staff level, TRC level, or onto the planning commission. So that's the subject matter that will be discussed. We intend to be here from about 9 at least to 11 or 12, depending on how long and how many people show up and the kind of questions we get. So, but it will start at 9 o'clock.
Anybody have a question for Mr. Urban?
And I forgot to add, all of this is available on our website, the county website. You can go and look at the revisions that we're proposing. Anybody that might be listening to this meeting that wants to call us, if they either need help getting to it or they want a copy, we'll be glad to give it to them in advance.
All right, fine, thank you.
Thank you.
I've asked Mr. Harris, our county engineer, to provide a report for us today. Mr. Harris is beginning his 12th month with the county, and a lot of activity has taken place in the county engineer's office, and I believe you have a report here that will summarize the month of December as well as year-to-date. So, Scott, go ahead.
Thank you, Judge. Good afternoon. We started out the year basically with a brand-new engineering department. I inherited an engineering department of 1 engineering employee and 1 watershed coordinator employee. We were functioning in a reactive mode. We weren't doing anything proactive. If it wasn't a call-in complaint, we didn't get to it. So we set out to hire more staff. We hired a CAD operator and an inspector, and a staff engineer / inspector. And they joined our veteran side inspector, who was promoted to a managerial position. And we began assessing, improving, enforcing state and federal and county laws and stormwater standards. We purchased AutoCAD, and we set up databases to create, among other things, what you're looking at here for our monthly service report, several metrics on how we spend our time and what we've accomplished over the year. So as you can see, we issued 257 encroachment and construction permits. We reviewed 98 sets of construction plans. We approved 28 sets of construction plans for developments. We drove down plan review cycle time to 9 days. When I got here, I inherited 22 submitted plans that had all been in here for more than 8 months. We now are down to 9 days. We've conducted over 160 investigations into drainage, erosion, and pollution that have came from residents and officials. We issued 55 enforcement actions to mitigate pollution from entering our county and waterways. These include notice of deficiencies, notice of violations, and stop work orders. We've initiated 4 capital improvement projects to improve stormwater runoffs to our roadway system and our county neighborhoods. They're listed at the bottom here. 3 are stormwater related, and 1 is a roadway project, and all 4 are currently underway and will be completed in this calendar year. We developed and implemented the stormwater maintenance agreement as per ordinance that was passed by you all in August of 2016. We currently are at 90% draft of a new design and plan review checklists for all of our developers and engineers. We've completed an initial draft of a design manual to go with that checklist, and we have an initial draft modifications on all of our current ordinances to make them read the same way and take any confusion out of what they are, and they will be brought to you all in the spring after they go through several committees. In our watershed division of the engineering department, we were also busy. We completed a 3-year grant cycle and then started a new 4-year grant cycle, which is our largest to date, running through 2020. The new grant emphasizes repair or replacing faulty septic systems in priority areas of Curry's Fork watershed. Some highlights of this program are we constructed 2 stream bank stabilization restoration projects of over 425 linear feet of stream. We reduced sediment pollutions to our county streams by a ton. That's a ton of sediment, making them healthier and safer in the community. We reached over 500 participants directly through outreach and education efforts about water health. We reached at least 25,000 residents indirectly through over 200 media spots, direct mailings, and articles to help residents control water pollution. We co-hosted Living Along a Kentucky Stream workshop and seed tree seedling distribution with the University of Kentucky Extension Office, and we hosted 6 additional events, including 2 stream cleanups where volunteers pulled 2 truckloads of trash out of our local creeks. So we've been very busy in this year, the first year. We feel like we have made significant accomplishments, and we look forward to many more successes in 2018. I
Right.
entertain questions.
Does anyone have any questions they'd like to refer to Mr. Harris?
Brent.
Mr. Likens?
Thank you. Scott, you've been busy. Just wanted to ask you about number 2 of your capital projects updates. If you can fill me in a little bit more there, because I have a homeowners meeting tonight that I want to be able to fill in the homeowners association.
This shouldn't come up on that.
No.
That's something else, I believe. But there's 3 cross culverts under Goshen Lane.
Yes.
From Judge Field's property into the subdivision. This is the middle one, okay, where that comes across and snakes its way through the subdivision. We've had it topoed, we've had utilities located. We're currently running what we call initial hydraulics. How do different design storms perform? How it is. We know they perform badly, but this gives us a model that we compare to high water marks that people have, and we have several pictures of those we've collected from the community. And then we will redesign it to improve the situation. And in this situation, it's get it through there to Little Huckleberry Creek as soon as possible.
Thank you very much.
Anyone else? Magistrate Greenwell?
Thank you, Judge. Scott, on the approved construction plans,
Yes.
the next to the last one, BAPS Mander Edition, what is that?
Next to the last one.
Under McDonald's.
Oh, that's Baptist. It's a Baptist church that they call themselves BAPS. And this Mandir edition, he's the gentleman that's putting it together. That's what the plans say on it.
Okay.
Yeah,
Where is
it's-
this located at?
Highway 42. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Right, we've had a tremendous amount of development activity that has come forward since the beginning of the year. I think a new attitude is out there in regard to business, and things are on the upswing. We've all seen the stock market improve tremendously this past year. There's been really a significant number of people who've come forward with development ideas, business ideas that they have proposed. We look at these ideas very carefully. We can't stop certain types of stores that are, let's just say, a normal business. I can think of one business right now. There's 4 or 5 of the same type of stores in LaGrange. We all know that we've had several of these come, but people want to invest in the community and try their hand at making that type of business go. We can't pick and choose who the winners are, or even if they are, we can't stop them from coming and being a business, but they do have to present a development plan that has all the proper construction and drainage, building requirements to it, engineering requirements that create a solid and stable and environmentally friendly business in that location. So our engineering group has been very busy, and one very important statistic that Scott cited has to do with working down the backlog of people who are coming for service. At one time, we had maybe 20 to 25 different balls in the air at the same time. Everybody wants their development and their project to be the next to be approved. Obviously, everything can't be done at once. It has to be done sequentially. A number of people had to come back for second and third, examinations of their submitted material. One place had to come back 9 times. Well, when that happens 9 times, it takes up a lot of time. And so we've had to work through all of that to get where we are. So I believe you've done an excellent job with you and your staff, as well as the other members of with our planning and zoning and engineering department. Our building inspectors are out there. I believe I heard this morning that we did 4,000 inspections last year. That's a lot of inspections. That's a lot of people calling on circumstances to try to examine them to make sure they comply with all our building and environmental codes. So, thank you. Is anyone, Magistrate Dye?
Yeah, Scott, thanks for the information. This is pretty much like a lot of the departments do, and it's been a long time coming. On the people, on the different individuals or companies or organizations that send out, bring plans into you or your office for evaluation and approval, is there, since you've been here a year, do you find that maybe there are some people that are not as versed on what they're putting in front of you than others? In other words, they're either better educated or better prepared or whatever kind of adjective you want to stick on there. Is that a fair assessment?
We get all levels of plan.
All right. Okay,
so
is
that-
there any, do you all prefer to perform any in-service with these people and say, if you want to make your plan go smoother, faster, less sendbacks or returns or markups or whatever y'all call it, do y'all do that? Are you planning to do that to take?
In my first month here, back in January, the developing community got together and threw me a little welcoming meeting, in which they pretty much demanded a checklist so they knew what we would want. Of course, we were buried in plan sets, so we told them, well, you can either have your plans reviewed and approved, or we can give you a checklist. They picked reviewed and approved, so we've caught up. Now we have a checklist, so they know exactly what they need. Probably the biggest problem we have with a set of plans is these are construction plans, so you need to be able to build whatever the item is from these plans. Lacking the information to build it, lacking the detail to build it, the invert something's built at, or even the size of it, in my mind makes it impossible to build. It certainly makes it impossible for my inspector to say, yep, it's built according to plan if the plan doesn't define those things. And our biggest response used to be, well, don't worry, the contractor knows how to build this. So we don't have that problem anymore. We haven't seen one of those plans in 3 or 4 months.
So in other words, the learning curve has been successful.
It has been successful.
Okay, that's all I need to know. Thank
And
you.
we hope that the checklists and the design manual make it even more successful.
Thank you.
Thank
All
you.
right, thank you, appreciate it. We've heard from several staff members here. Are there any members of the community that have come in that would like to address the fiscal court during our open comment session? Seeing no one, I'll close the open comment and go on to our first item of business here. We aren't going to have a long meeting today. It's early in the year. There haven't been a lot of issues that have arisen or items to be taken care of, so I expect we're going to go through this pretty expeditiously. The first item is to pay our bills. We do that every 2 weeks, and the checks are sent out within a day or two after they're approved at the meeting. So,
Judge, I'll make that motion that we pay the bills.
A second.
all right, moved and seconded. Our bills are here, a list of things that come up. Magistrate Dye.
Is this a repeat or a correction from last time? On the first page, Sandy Abrams Landscaping, the detention center, $1,530. Is that, there's not the people that did our initial landscaping. Is that-
Pardon?
That's not the people that did the initial landscaping?
No, that was.
Is that additional work?
That's additional work. If you remember, I mentioned, in the minutes here, we mentioned that Woodfield Homes donated $1,500 for additional trees in the community, and we put that in screening at the detention center with some large evergreen trees that aren't large now, but will grow to large evergreens.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else have a question? All right, hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Next item under community business, we have the first reading of a zoning map amendment for 2701 Cedar Point Road in LaGrange. And Brooke Veman from Planning and Development is here to discuss that with the court. This is the first reading of a zoning map change. There will be a second reading in not the next meeting, but the following meeting.
Good afternoon, I'm Brooke Beeman, I'm one of the planners with Planning and Zoning. I'll just give you a quick overview. You all will see this at the public hearing on January 23rd. But the Planning Commission did recommend approval of a zoning map amendment from R2 to R2A at 2701 Cedar Point Road on November 28th. This is the first reading. As you can see here on this map, it's the tract that's circled in blue. It's about 32 acres off of Cedar Point Road. You have Heather Green and Heather Ridge to the north of this property. It's currently vacant. There is one house which will be seller retained. I don't want to get too much into it, but I can answer any questions that you have. You should have your staff reports. I went ahead and gave those to you so you could start reading that for the next meeting.
First question I have is, I'm not sure do we have a meeting scheduled for the 23rd?
2 weeks from today, isn't it?
No, this is a special meeting. Our next meeting would be a week from today.
No, we changed both of
Do
them.
we change them both?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. All right, then my next question is, do we need 30 days? Do we have enough time to advertise this sufficiently to
It's
be
been
able to bring it up on
advertised.
that date?
Yes, sir. I put the zoning change sign out today according to KRS 100 requirements. The adjoining property owner notices went out yesterday, and the notice will be in the newspaper on Thursday for the 23rd.
All right. Any magistrates have any questions about this zoning map change that they'd like to ask clarification today? Magistrate Hounds?
What's the yellow portion in there now? What is that? Is that those
That's Heather Ridge.
Heather Ridge? Okay.
So that's the first section that's been built. I know there's a couple more sections that have not been to record yet. That's why it just shows that one section in there, because that actually has been recorded and
Okay.
a portion of that has been built.
Okay, that's what I thought. Let me make sure.
Would you like to describe this a little more detail than just, there's people watching on television that have no idea what's in front of us here, and I'd
Sure.
like them to know.
This is the development plan that the Planning Commission approved. It was approved on a vote of 10 to 2. It is for 102 lots, and they're single-family lots. Basically, the reason they're requesting the zoning change is to allow for greater density. It's only 0.01 more than what R2 allows, so it's not that much more density than R2. The lot sizes are a little bit smaller than R2, which is what the current zoning is. So the minimum lot size in the proposed zoning classification is 7,500 square feet with a minimum lot width of 40 feet. They are, according to the applicant's justification, they want this kind of development to allow for greater open space, and they believe that this type of lot and this type of home would better serve the market currently, which is some baby boomers that want to move out of their larger homes, some young professionals that maybe don't want to live in a large home right away, or a larger lot, that is, right away. They did also receive variances for side yard setbacks. And that was approved on a vote of 10 to 2 by the Planning Commission. So it's just your typical single-family subdivision. The reason that they need a zoning change is to allow for smaller lot sizes.
And the side yard setback is to be,
It'll be 5 feet on each side, so it'll be 10 feet minimum between homes.
Measure die.
As the rules change, where is the second entrance to this subdivision?
There is, when a subdivision is when it's 200 lots and over, that's when we require a second entrance. This is only 102 lots, So our subdivision regulations only require one entrance.
But there is also a connection to the adjoining subdivision. If you
Correct.
look right about on the top of the, oh, sorry, yep. There is a connection, so that allows for another way to get in and out of this subdivision.
Which wasn't required.
That's
with
making the
different
assumption the
bylaw.
other subdivision's finished.
Yes. But they're all interconnected. All three of those are interconnected.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else? All right, we'll take this up again in
Judge,
2 weeks.
I had a
Pardon?
question.
Leslie?
What size lot are they requesting it to be downsized to?
So
From 7,500 square feet?
in R2, the minimum lot size, which is the current zoning without the zoning change, the minimum lot size is 12,000 square feet. R2A, the minimum lot size is 7,500 square feet, and that's what the applicant is requesting is the R2A zoning classification.
Okay, I understand, just had a,
So the minimum is 7,500 square feet. There are several of these lots that are 7,500 square feet, but there's a range between 7,500 and 11,000. So they're not all 7,500 square foot lots. Some of them are larger.
thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, thank you, Brooke.
You're welcome.
We'll take this up again in 2 weeks. In the next meeting, there'll be an opportunity for public comment. The next item on our agenda has to do with the Extension Board District. Okay. That's we're going to reappoint 2 people to that board today. My recommendations are to reappoint Joyce McKinney to a term that would continue on until December 31st, 2020, and also for Nancy Dahlgren, a term to continue on until that same point. Both of these ladies have been very active in extension, and they're committed to the success of the extension program.
I would move for both of those, Judge.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion about it? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries, 8 to 1. All right, our meeting's going to come to a conclusion here in just a second. I said it was a fast meeting. Just haven't had too much new that needs to be taken care of right now come up. Is there anyone who's come in from the beginning of the meeting that would like to make a comment at this point? Seeing no one, I'll close the public comment and see if our magistrates, Magistrate Logston, do you have anything you'd like to add today?
Be careful this Saturday, or, I don't know, Friday, Saturday, whenever the snow's coming in, so, you know, the weather people, the only job you can have, you can be 100% wrong, so we'll either get a blizzard or we won't get anything, so
Okay.
just please be careful out there.
It should die.
No, there's another job, college coaches can be 100% wrong. Road department did a great job, what little snow we had, but they were out there anticipating something better, but the roads were nice.
Magistrate Eldridge?
Thank you, Judge. Again, we'd like to appreciate the road department and the job that they do, but also caution for people this time of year to be careful with garbage. I know in a meeting earlier today, I had to report 4 tires that were thrown out in my district, and Magistrate Greenwell had a bag of garbage thrown out in his, so let's try to keep our county beautiful and keep our parks people and maintenance people doing things other than picking up other people's garbage. Thank you.
Magistrate Hounds?
I'd like to echo Magistrate Dye's comments about the roads. In a road committee meeting today, Wes talked about the success that they had, and it's like you said about the weather. They can put down salt in areas and never see any precipitation, and put down salt, not enough salt in some areas, because they get more precipitation. It just is what it is, but I think you guys did a great job. Everybody, or not everybody, but people read Facebook, and popped up today that today is National Law Enforcement Appreciation Day. So I verified it via Google, and Google says that it is also. So both of those things can't be wrong, Facebook and Google. So just a shout out to our law enforcement folks. We've got a few sheriff's deputies here today, and thank you guys for your service.
Measure Greenwell.
Thank you, Judge. Just to reiterate, the road department, and they tried a new process last Friday, and I applaud them for their efforts. They just went out on the dry roads and spread salt, and as I was noticing, the cars would drive over it and turn it into powder, and it stayed there. But then we got a rain, and it was a little heavier than we anticipated. So it didn't work quite as we had planned, but if you don't try something, you'll never know. So they did it, and I applaud their efforts for that.
Measure Leslie.
I have nothing.
Measure Tice.
You get down to this end, most everything has been said, so thank you, the other magistrates, and nothing further.
All right, Magistrate Likens.
Nothing, Judge.
I'll mention one more time, we do have a fundraiser planned for Friday night at the Oldham County Detention Center. Anyone in the community who would like to participate can call my office to find out how, or go on one of the charities' websites. We have 14 different charities who are bringing people who have donated to the charity to the detention center to help our detention center staff learn how to manage people in that building and to test out equipment at various stages. A lot of the equipment has been tested, but we want to make sure all the locks work, and all the phones, and there's a lot of electronic gear in the detention center that the people have a chance to try to do something with. So we thank those people who are interested in supporting the charities in the community. So with that, I'm going to ask for an adjournment.
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?